Okay, so very briefly, I just want to introduce myself. This is my second YouTube channel, right? On this channel, I would like to dabble into something that I've studied for years, right? And to the best of my knowledge and my ability, I will share what I've learned. Now, um, I have studied astrology in depth, right? For like over 15 years now. I take my time. I took my time. I studied the in and outs of it, and I more I am more based on the logical aspect of it. I don't do tarot readings. I don't do readings. I don't believe in any of that nonsense. I studied basic, logical, rational, the rational aspect of it. Now, that being said, I should say one other thing. I have studied sidereal astrology. Now, yes, I have studied the tropical Western aspect of it, but then when I found out, because as I elevated in my learning, thanks to one of my mentors, Fahim Alibe of the Morris Science Institute. I'd like to thank him because it was he who started me on my journey to, you know, dabble into the higher sciences. And well, again, as I elevated in my understanding of things, I realized that Western or tropical astrology is not accurate. We only use it because modern astrologers they refuse to move from that model because they are stuck in a time period that no longer exists. Because when you elevate in the higher aspects of it, you get to understand astrological ages, the procession of the equinoxes, right? You get to understand that things shift and change, and nothing stays the same. That being said, the period that these astrologers are stuck in, they still think it's the age of Aries, when actually, in fact, we have we are far ahead. Everything has moved by like 24 degrees, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, like, let's say you're born according to Western astrology as Aries. They might say the sun was 24 degrees in Aries. In actual fact, the sun was 0 degrees in Aries when he was born, basically, in a nutshell, right? And well, I have even elevated higher than that, but for the sake of uh, to start people off, I will just go with the basic sidereal because then when you reach the level that I have reached, you get to understand that there's true sidereal because what you get to understand is the constellation itself is not counted by any degrees. It is actually just the house that the constellation is passing through. Because if you could make a entire 360-degree circle around the earth, the day and the night side, every house is 30 degrees, adding up to the 360 degrees, right? That's how you get the complete natal chart. Of course, you would have to know things like your time, your exact time of birth. That is very important. That's why you see they keep those records in the hospitals. That is why places, when you're going for a job, they ask you, well, what's your date of birth? and all these sort of things because these people understand a lot of science. This is how they are able to control and keep the power that they keep because we all know that within the occult, that a lot of these are powerful people involved in the occult. They know science, they know numbers, they know planetary alignments, they know constellation alignments. So when they ask what your date of birth is, no, they would know that the average man, the average person would not know exactly what constellation they born under. You would, as I say, you might think that you're Aries, but you're actually born in the sun was in the Pisces constellation when he was born. These people would know that. You understand? So these things are important. Numbers are important. People get tapped with these things. Numbers are important. The star constellation is not that much, not so much important. It just describes how a planet energy will be manifested in your life. But the real important thing is the house placement and the planetary placement. Again, the constellation just says, well, this is how the energy will manifest. The planet is what is happening, the constellation is how it is happening, and the house is where or what aspect in your life it is happening. Okay? Um, Now, the powers that be understand again that the average person wouldn't know a lot of things. For instance, a lot of people, as I said, still believe that we in the age of, we have who conscious now and we know that we in the age of Pisces, but they're still using Aries constellation philosophies, still thinking that well, all right, is a 24 degrees sun Aries when actually is a 0 degrees sun Aries, or it might just be a 30-degree Pisces. You understand? It's like that. So these things are important. So we are in the astrological age of Pisces, right? Soon we will be heading across to the astrological age of Aquarius. Now, the astrological age of Aries came to an end during the zenith of the Roman Empire. At the, at the peak of the Roman Empire, just before the advent of Christianity, the age of Aries came to an end and we entered into the age of Pisces. Hence the reason why the concept of Christ, religion, all these things came into being because Pisces represents the transcendence from the material into the spiritual. The two fishes, the constellation is depicted as two fishes jumping out of water. Some people say they tied by a cord, right? In a nutshell, what it means is breaking free from what limits. Because a fish is limited to water, that is his natural habitat. Air, however, is not his natural habitat, right? So the fish is jumping out of water, which means they're trying to break free from what is limiting them. Now, that could also be interpreted in a number of ways because Pisces is a broad constellation. It is ruled by the planet Jupiter. No, modern astrologers would, because I like to call them astrologers, sorry if I'm being disrespectful, they would tell you that Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and that is a lie. Neptune is not the ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is and always will be the ruler of Pisces. Always will be. Because the Piscean energy is, in fact, very Jupiterian. Jupiter expands wherever he is. Pisces expands. It is an expansive constellation. As a matter of fact, I think it's the second largest constellation, right? The two fishes jumping in opposite directions, meaning that you could expand in opposite modes of thought. Now, Pisces is a water constellation, meaning that it based upon feeling, because all the water constellations are based upon feeling, what you feel, right? Scorpio is intensity, Cancer is sensitivity, Pisces is empathy, meaning that you feel outside of yourself, right? This is why things like um, compassion, things like again empathy, things like idealism, things like romanticism are tied to Pisces because of that transcendent nature that the constellation represents. It represents going beyond the self, feeling what others feel, right? You're not limited to yourself, right? You could feel everything around you, that connectivity, right? That is why Pisces is, in fact, the total opposite of Virgo because Virgo is self preservation, while Pisces is understanding the other person, right? Feeling what the other person feel and trying to help that person. It deals with philosophical ideas, things like unconditional love, uh, morality, honesty, truth. This is also why Venus is exalted here because Venus represents harmonization or what we would call love, right? Pisces is like the embodiment of that unconditional love. I could feel what this person feeling. And so in this present age that we are in, the power of the age upon mankind has tried to make us have that kind of empathy, have that kind of idealistic reasoning. But when these things are put up against reality, it is found wanting. And that is why Jupiter finds his fall in Capricorn, because Capricorn is the ultimate reality that this is what life is, and it's hard and harsh. Jupiter can't handle that. And that is why I say Jupiter is in fact very Piscean and Pisces is in fact very Jupiterian. Because yes, Jupiter does rule Sagittarius, but Sagittarius is his outward expression, while Pisces is his inward expression. That wanting a better world, that wanting to help everybody, that wanting to give. That is also why Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, because Cancer is all about sensitivity to the needs of others. That is why Cancer is the mother, ruled by the moon, which is the ultimate mother. Want to nurture, want to feed, emotional, want to care emotionally, you know. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer because it, it Cancer naturally enhances his ability to feel the needs of others. You understand? Because of his Piscean nature, right? So this is why in this present age you would find that man is uh, always striving for these ideals, we're trying to find that spiritual connection to each other, that oneness, that connection, for us to go beyond ourselves, right? However, the age is coming to an end, right? Also, too, the polarity of Pisces is negative because, as I said, yes, these ideals in themselves sound good theoretically, but put against reality, it cannot stand. And that is why Jupiter is even in detriment in Virgo. His opposite of Pisces, because why? Virgo is all about refining things, you know, purifying, dissecting it and breaking it apart into the various details to make the whole. Because Virgo is all about finding the facts. It's all about clarifying everything, purifying it to find the facts in it, to sift through all the you know, because Pisces is a very vague and opaque constellation. You know, it has no clear no clear definition, while Virgo is very clear. That's why Mercury is exalted there, because it's clear, clarified, refined communication, clear for the facts, to find the facts. While Pisces is not that. Pisces is the total opposite. Pisces wanted to have this romanticized fantasy way of thinking, the great pie in the sky, that kind of head in the clouds mentality, you're thinking not clear, you're just in this bubble, right? This is why, but it is necessary for us to go through this age that the spring equinox passing through, because it has to prepare us, it is to prepare us for the coming age, which is the age of Aquarius. And in the Aquarian age, that is the age where all will be revealed. All that is hidden and mystified in this age is going to be somewhat brought into reality in the coming age, which I will clarify in another video. Right? Have a great one. Until next time.